Let me read you through some of the highlights of Bill Murphy's CV, even though I know he's well known to many of you. Bill grew up in Glen Ridge, New Jersey and graduated from Cornell in 1968. He was honorable mention on the All-America football team. He went on to become the starting wide receiver for the Boston Patriots in 1968. Bill went on to a career in the futures industry, a logical step, isn't it? As a commodities broker. Early on, he worked for Shearson Hayden Stone and Drexel Burnham before starting up his own brokerage firm on Fifth Avenue in New York. In 1998, he opened up LeMetropoleCafe.com, a legendary and pioneering financial market website geared to the gold market. In January 1999, Bill founded and became chairman of the Gold Antitrust Action Committee, GATA, to expose the manipulation of the gold price by what he called the gold cartel. He called it the gold cartel already at the time. Today this is more or less a pretty well-known term, but well, times have changed and it took quite some time for this term to become common knowledge in broader circles. Bill chaired the GATA African Gold Summit in Durban, South Africa in 2001, an event that was featured on South African television. In 2005, he chaired Gold Rush 21 in Dawson City, Canada, a historic conference held in the Yukon to expose the manipulation of the gold market. 100 delegates attended from 14 countries. In April 2008, he was the host for the GATA Goes to Washington conference in Arlington, Virginia. Attendees came from 17 countries for the gathering. The conference showcased GATA's efforts to learn the truth about US gold reserves from the Fed and US Treasury, which has led to a lawsuit against the Fed and the US District of Columbia. In January 2008, GATA placed a full-page color $264,000 ad in the Wall Street Journal and spoke of coming disaster and catastrophe due to the gold price suppression scheme. I note this was January 2008. Before the catastrophe happened, even though the real estate market was already depressed at the time. Financial trauma in the US soon followed. In the same ad, GATA spoke of $3,000 to $5,000 gold. The price was $900 per ounce at the time. Next slide, please. On March 25th, 2010, an important date, Bill testified before a CFTC public hearing. CFTC is the Commodity Future Trading Commission, the regulator of the future markets, especially for precious metals. And he testified to expose the manipulation of the gold and silver markets. At the same hearing, GATA presented emails and testimony from London's Andrew Maguire, a whistleblower about the nefarious market suppression activities in the silver market. His video statements went viral on the internet. I hope you understand what that means. The word spread, disseminated very quickly, exponentially, as is possible by means of the internet. The price of silver was $16 per ounce at the time. The price of silver has tripled since then. I'm not saying you can attribute everything to this testimony and to this hearing in March 2010, but I claim there is a correlation here. And looking ahead, on August 4, 5 and 6 of 2011, Bill will chair GATA's 4th international conference in London at the Savoy Hotel. You can take a flyer at the entrance. And you please note also the web link, which we have on the slide. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can see we are having a visionary, energetic, persistent and bold person here tonight. Let me add to all this that Bill not only has been ridiculed and laughed at during the course of his 13 GATA years, but that he even was attacked physically, that is long after his football career and not on the football court. This man actually experienced all stages of Gandhi's wisdom, which is originally from German philosopher Schopenhauer. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. His work even proves correct Paul Valéry, French philosopher, who said, if you can't fight the idea, you fight the speaker. It'll be interesting to see whether GATA and the world will actually reach Schopenhauer's phase 4 anytime soon, and whether at gold 10,000 or so, the Gold Antitrust Action Committee can announce mission accomplished, and whether it possibly will then have to dissolve itself due to lack of purpose. Whatever the outcome, for 13 years, Bill's untiring work has contributed greatly to finally exposing the manipulation of the gold and silver markets. As a result, we seem to currently be witnessing the beginning of the collapse of this manipulation. After 13 years, GATA's work is finally coming to fruition. The manipulators seem to have lost the first battles, although, of course, not yet the war. Of course, Bill has not been alone in his pioneering work. He has had like-minded colleagues who have been as diligent and bold and outspoken as him. I'm of course talking about the likes of Ted Butler, his GATA colleague, Chris Powell, Adrian Douglas, Eric Sprott, and many others. GATA associates all over the world. We are fortunate enough to have here another pioneer in the world of sound money and free markets, James Turk. He will be giving a brief but surely to the point speech before Bill. Of course, James is so well known to all of you that I can run through his CV pretty quickly. He does not need a long introduction, and well, he lives in Europe, so few of you have had the chance to meet him earlier. Next slide, please. James Turk is one of the foremost authorities of all gold-related economic topics. He's a well-known book author and very diligent and frequent article writer. I really have to stress very diligent at this point because especially recently he's on all news channels. James was born in the US in 1947, a first-generation American of Austrian and Slovenian parents, but he has spent most of his adult life outside of the States. James and his family today live in Spain and London. He is specialized in international banking, finance, investments, since graduating in 1969 from George Washington University with a degree in international economics. He began his business career with, of all places, the Chase Manhattan Bank, now JP Morgan Chase. Since 1987, James has been the author of the free Gold Money Report. He has written several monographs and numerous articles on money and banking, and is the co-author of the book, The Coming Collapse of the Dollar. I think it appeared in 2004. James is a frequent interview partner both of the internet and in the mainstream media, and of course James is also founder and chairman of GoldMoney.com, which since its launch in 2001 has become a leading provider of gold, silver and platinum bullion to buyers worldwide. It's presently storing in vaults in London, Hong Kong, Zurich, more than, I believe, 25 million ounces of precious metals worth close to 1.8 billion US. Next slide, please. And finally, James initiated and co-founded the GoldMoney Foundation, a not-for-profit educational organization established in 2010. The aim of the foundation is to promote and support educational initiatives that expound the principles of sound money. Its scope is global. The GoldMoney Foundation, I should add, is a sponsor of tonight's conference, both ideological by its very founder and financially. So thank you for that too.